This is ANN News Brief.
As Kenya celebrates 1,000 days since its standard gauge railway went into operation, some critics are raising questions over the cost and everything surrounding the loans that brought the project to life. This is the country's most costly infrastructure project since its independence, costing more than $3 billion. It began running in 2017, and some Kenyans are now questioning the cost of the project. They believe the country paid way more than its neighbors, Ethiopia and Tanzania. With a Chinese loan of $3 billion for the nearly 500-kilometer line and another $1.5 billion for a second route from Nairobi to Naivasha. Some critics say the project has plunged the country into a debt crisis that keeps it indebted to China. An activist is challenging the government in court, asking the government to release details of the deal with China. He said the Chinese loan went to a contractor, so what the country got was a debt. As he claims, there is also a conflict of interest in the project. The government has not yet made public details of its agreement with China. A United Nations Human Rights Council report has painted South Sudan as a serious human rights violator. South Sudan Director General for Multilateral Affairs Samuel Laute Lominsuk said his government's compromises made possible the formation of the new national unity government. Lominsuk said his country is forging ahead with improvement efforts in human rights issues. This, he said, negates the UN Council's classification of his country as the worst nation on earth in terms of human rights violations. The UN Commission on Human Rights in South Sudan published the report last week, in which it said widespread sexual and gender-based violence is pervasive in South Sudan. The report says the government deliberately starves the population as a war tactic. It also says the government is, quote, riddled with corruption, end quote. The South Sudanese government is yet to respond to the report's claims. We'll be right back.
Whether in your house, at your office, on your phone or online, we are there. We have the facts behind the headlines. We cut to the chase with the news you really need. We cover every angle. We are the bigger, better news network. We are African News Network, ANN. Watch ANN News on MITV from a truly African spirit.
Ethiopia is keeping the next round of talks with Egypt and the Sudan on the Grand Renaissance Dam dispute. There was hope that the parties would reach a final deal this month on the Mammoth Dam project, but U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said in Addis Ababa last week there is so much more work to do on the agreement that may now take months. Ethiopia's Ministry of Water, Irrigation and Energy said on its Facebook page it was missing the Thursday and Friday meetings so it can conclude consultation with relevant interests. Egypt's Foreign Ministry spokesman Ahmed Hafez says his country is committed to the negotiations as agreed upon by the three countries. Egypt's Irrigation Minister is at the talks in Washington. Ethiopia says it will begin filling the dam in July, but Egypt wants the filling to be done slowly to reduce restrictions on the flow of the Nile. That is ANN News Brief at 10. For details on these and other breaking stories, visit our website, annafrica.news. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I'm Lucy Ademi.